conversations that you might want to think about having. And I got to say, I'm ready for a little bit of a water break. Just got off a clarity call with a lovely woman, and we're going to rock her career and take care of things for her. She's been unhappy for a little bit too long. Listen, here's the thing. Today, I want to talk about difficult conversations. And I also want to talk about why difficult conversations are important to have. You know, human beings have this strange habit. We tend to keep our thoughts and feelings inside and make judgments about that. We make judgments about the thoughts and feelings that we have all the time. We're judging, 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 judging. We're judging ourselves 24/7. We have between 60 and 80,000 thoughts a day, according to researchers. And what they have found is that most of those thoughts are the same thoughts, and most of those thoughts are self judging thoughts. That's what keeps us stuck. That's what prevents you from having conversations or doing things different. So you're stuck in your habits of thoughts and feelings. This becomes your comfort zone. And what happens is that when you are outside your comfort zone, your nervous system goes, ah! Got to fix your glasses on that one. Your nervous system freaks out when you're outside your known zone. We like to call this comfort zone, but truthfully, after talking with thousands and thousands of women on clarity calls, there is no comfort in their known zone. So it's really a known zone, not a comfort zone. But what happens is that we don't want to get out of that, or we can't get out of that because our same thought feeling patterns persist and persist and persist, and then we judge ourselves. Hello, ladies, Anne Marie and Elise. Great to see you here. Here we go. A conversation that you really know you need to have. Write down who that is with. Write down why you need to have that. Write down the feelings that you have about why you're not having that conversation. Go ahead and assess, and then write down the reasons why you're not having that conversation. As one of my beloved aunts would say, why in the wide world of sports are you staying doing that? It was a great saying. Well, actually, she still says it. She's still alive and kicking as feisty as ever. So here's the thing. Hey, JD, nice to see you. See you later on tonight. Judy, nice to see you. So the conversations that you know you must have that you're not having involve the repetitive thought feeling patterns that you have that are preventing you from having these conversations. Sounds sort of circular and confusing to me, Mo. It is circular. You keep playing the same tape over and over and not having the conversation you need to have. One of my team members pierced this on Friday. She pierced this. She knew she needed to talk to me about something that was in her thought, feeling, energy, and it was stopping her from doing the best job that she knew she could do. But she was afraid to have the conversation with me. Why? Because I'm her boss. You know, it's a little scary being open and vulnerable with your boss. But you know what's scarier? Not having the conversation that must be had. But most people won't have this conversation because they don't know how to manage it. I gotcha. That's right. You're not having these conversations because you don't know how to manage the difficult terrain, much less you don't trust yourself or have confidence in yourself. And the other thing that happens is you kind of don't even know how to do it. So today we're going to talk a little bit about this because I want to free you up in your life. My whole goal in life is to help women feel more empowered. And when you feel more empowered, you're going to do a few things. You're going to have a happier life. That means everyone in your world is going to do better. And number two, you're going to make more money. Now, Mo, I'm not money motivated. Money's not that important to me. Liar. That's what I have to say to every woman who tells me that. Money's not that important. Yes, it is. If you don't live in the three-dimensional world where you've got to pay for things, then I could appreciate how money might not be that important to you. But if you're living on this planet, money's important. So you may not value and prioritize money because you have a lot of beliefs about it. But to be honest with you, those beliefs are holding you back also. Oh, I don't really need to make six figures. I want to, but I don't need to. I can do fine with 80, no problem. So we tell ourselves again, thought, feeling patterns over and over and over again. So that stops you and stunts you from your real growth. Just like having a conversation that you sort of don't want to have, but you know you ought to, that's a breakthrough. And when you have a breakthrough, you can become a bigger version of yourself, a higher vibing version of yourself. That's the woman who gets hired for the next level job. That's the woman who lights up a room. That's the woman who feels courageous in every moment of her life. That's the woman who does things to serve the world and to serve others without giving of herself. You see, most women we talk to work hard, give until they are depleted. And on our clarity calls, we talk to women who are so freaking depleted, so unsure of themselves, so lost as to what their next move is because everything they've tried before seems like it hasn't really panned out. And that version of you is the version of you that's not having the conversation that you need to have. Now, of course, because I'm a career coach, we're sort of talking about a career conversation, but this happens with any conversation. Look, here's the truth. You're not having conversations with others because you're afraid of what's going to happen. You're afraid of how you're going to be judged by that person. You're afraid of how poorly it's going to go. And you're afraid of being seen as someone who's weak. I do this for a living, folks. I know what's going on. I'm not guessing. Okay. I'm not guessing. And I help hundreds of women through these problems, successfully navigating these problems. And we don't do it in just a linear approach. If I gave you a how to have a powerful conversation, you wouldn't do it. Or you wouldn't execute it maybe in the way that you'd want, because underneath it all, the level of confidence that you have is not enough to carry that out. So if I gave you a 100-pound weight to lift in the gym and you've only lifted 20, you're not going to be able to lift that 100-pound weight. It's going to feel heavy and you're going to feel weak. And then you're going to judge yourself. I'm not strong enough to do what Coach Mo said. Well, right now you may not be. But I'm going to tell you this. The solution we offer in our Kick-Ass workshop is that we help our ladies feel stronger inside so that they can navigate anything. Anything. Conversations, interviews, promotions, non-scary discussions, how to show up and talk about yourself. One of our grads over the last couple of weeks landed her second job, and shout out to Ann. Ann, I don't know if you're here. Total shout out to you. Because we talk to thousands of women a year on our clarity calls, and feel free to book one of those if you haven't done that. If we haven't helped you get to your truth and really understand what's working, not working, and what you really want to do, there's a pathway for you to get where you want to go. And it's not always our solution, but oftentimes it is. If you're listening to my work and you're kind of feeling like your career isn't working out and there must be something that's not just meeting the eye, we could probably help you. But let's sort it out on a clarity call. So what happens is that when you learn the first 12 weeks of what we have in our workshop, in our Kick-Ass workshop, you not only become empowered and your soul comes back to life, but now you have tools. So again, bravo, Anne, for landing a freaking kick-ass job before moving to Florida to be nearer her parents who need her a little bit, and she wants to be near them as they're aging. Most women we talk to would have made the opposite decision. They would have quit their great job, and bravo on the job you landed while you're in the workshop. So most women would have quit that job and then moved and then tried to figure it out. Having now created a gap of not only self-esteem, but also income and continuity. That matters a lot. If you've been following my work at all, you know I'm not an advocate of quitting your job. I'm just absolutely not an advocate of doing it. Now, there are some circumstances where it's just so horrible and so awful and whatever. But you know what? I'd rather coach you in how to handle and navigate that than to have you just jump off the cliff and now you absolutely need a parachute and there's no turning back. So if you're on the verge of quitting a job or feeling like you need to quit, you need to book that career clarity call so we can help you navigate it in a much more graceful, elegant, empowered, and financially rewarding way. And we do that all the time. But the conversations that you're not having, if you did the exercise I just talked about earlier, about what is that or what are those conversations and really why aren't you having them? What's really going on there? What's stopping you? And what are the true consequences if you don't have the conversation? What's really going to happen if you don't step into your power? It's probably worse than what you imagine happening. If you do have that conversation, your imagination, rather your fear brain, not your true imagination, because your fear brain isn't really that creative. Your fear brain plays out the same scenarios over and over again. It gets kind of boring, actually, because all you can think about is what's going to go wrong. And if you think about your life, there may have been things that went wrong, but truthfully, there's a lot that went well. And you've always been able to navigate yourself out of situations. It may have been painful. You may have lost money. You may have lost face. You may have lost a job. But after sorting it all out, here you are. Now, we help our ladies avoid all of that calamity by teaching them the right skills, first of all, on top of a brighter, shinier soul. That's the essential ingredient. So, this team member of mine who had this very crucial, necessary conversation with me on Friday helped inspire me for this topic. And this topic was in the books long ago. So, she didn't know that she was doing that. But as everything always works out for me, the unfolding of it all was just absolutely perfect. So, she told me something she was scared about. And she told me something that was bugging the heck out of her, that was actually causing her to hold her energy in and not be as awesome as she wanted to be. And you know what? How she was feeling was totally valid for her, but it was a problem for me too, because I need her to be thinking about certain things as she's doing her job. And if she's resisting that important piece, she's not truly doing her job well. And she knew it and she was scared to admit it. But if she didn't admit it, she'd keep doing the same thing and holding in. And what would eventually happen, which is write this down. This is what's happening if you're not having the important conversations that you know you need to be having. What happens eventually is that there is a chasm that is created between you and that other person. It's an energetic wall that is now between you and that person. And if it's your boss, this is a big problem. If it's your partner, this is a big problem. If it's your neighbor, it's sort of big because you see them all the time and you know what I'm talking about. If you have a chasm between you and any other human being, if you see them on the regular, this is a big problem because that wall, that invisible energetic wall that you know is there, is felt by the other person. They may not know it here, but they know it here. And if they're enlightened just a little bit, they're going to be aware of it. And they might interpret that as you don't like them or that you're not as committed to that relationship. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to pull away in their own way. And then you're going to feel that and you're going to pull away in your way. And they're going to feel that and they're going to pull away. And you're going to feel that and you're going to pull away. And soon it's as big as the Pacific Ocean gap. This is how people get dropped off teams, run out of favor with their boss, start being marginalized. This is how people then become like second or third fiddle on the team because they have literally created a chasm that begins to grow. You see, nothing is static on this beautiful planet. Everything moves. It's either moving this way or it's moving that way. Wouldn't you rather all the important relationships you have move toward something more harmonious and better and cooler and fun and more loving and empowering? Isn't that what you want? Of course it is. And if you don't even think that that's possible, that's part of the problem, isn't it? You have to believe it's possible for you to have awesome relationships with everyone in your life. And indeed, it is more than possible. It is predictable. If you're working on your inner being, if you're bringing your soul back to life, you are absolutely going to have better relationships with everyone in your life. And you're going to be attracting better work, better teammates, better coworkers, better bosses, This company that my beautiful client got a new job in, it's an awesome company. Awesome company. And the package that she got, she's just like, boom, blown away. I'm not surprised because I've seen her do the inner work to become a stronger, more powerful version of herself. She was a little wobbly a year ago when we first met. Very wobbly, actually. Now she's freaking kick ass. And so, what she's done now for her future is she's pretty much put into the future through this second job that she has gained an opportunity to make more, to have a better future, to live near her parents, to have a better overall life. Here's the kicker. Anne started this job search by reaching out to someone on LinkedIn in a powerful way. And she wouldn't have done it previously at all. As a matter of fact, she wouldn't even have thought it. And she told me that on a recent coaching call. So what's happening is that when you bring your soul back to life, when you feel awesome about who you are and what you're all about, you can have powerful connections and conversations. You don't have to worry about having all the answers. You don't have to worry about what will happen. You can just be authentically you. But you know what? If you feel like crap, if your soul is pushed down and diminished into a dust pile, you're going to be fearful and you're not going to have these powerful conversations because you can't. And it's not that you don't want to. It's not that you don't know that you need to, but you can't. Just like if I handed you a 100-pound weight and you haven't been in shape for that, you can't lift 100 pounds. You might want to, but you can't. You see, there are some things in life that if you're not prepared and tooled up for, you simply can't do them. So many of the women that we talk to have not been able to land a new job outside of their current situation. Not because they don't want to, but that they simply don't have the tools and techniques, much less the soulful power to do it. They simply can't make it happen. And unfortunately, what happens is that well-meaning family members and sometimes a husband or partner or boyfriend says to them, why don't you just take an online LinkedIn course on how to do a resume a better version, and why don't you do it that way? And so there's this struggle of doing it the hard way. And meanwhile, the soul keeps getting pinched down and 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 nearly dead. Not the way to live. Not the kick-ass way to live. Not the soul resurrection way to live. So if this is anything like what's going on for you, you're going to want to consider making a really powerful appointment with our team. The Career Clarity Call is the turning point that over 600 women have made in their lives. And you know what? They're probably skeptical too. Like, what's this free call? What are they going to try to sell me? What's this all about? I'm going to get some idiot on the other end of the phone and someone's going to try to sell me something. Look, we don't try to sell you anything. We try to make sure that your dreams are moving in the direction that's suiting you and it's for you. And if you don't want to invest in the workshop that I have, okay. But you know what? We're going to advocate the hell out of you. Because if we can help you, why wouldn't I advocate for you? I'm a nurse after all. and I believe in advocating for people who need help. You may not see it clearly. You may not believe it in your heart. But if we can help you, we'll make the offer. We'll show you and point you the direction. And you know what? Out of the thousands of calls, probably half of those people really weren't the right fit. And that's okay. But you know what? They got clarity and value, and they know what's going on with their careers and what to do. As a matter of fact, there's probably several women now on my Facebook Live who had their clarity call and for one reason or other just couldn't make it work or wasn't the right fit. And so here we are talking about the most important conversation that you might have on your heart. Make yourself an appointment for yourself to have that conversation if you feel ready. And if you don't feel ready, I want you to at least be honest with yourself as to why you're not ready. What's in your way? What are those emotions and thoughts that you're having that are stealing that important conversation from you? Get real with yourself about what's going on inside of here. It's the only way you can solve any problem is if you get real with yourself, what's truly going on and holding you back. It may not be fun to look at it. And just like my beautiful team member on Friday, she had to say these things to me like, you're not going to like what I have to say, and this may be a surprise to you. And all of those lead in types of psychological openers. If you come to my workshop, you're going to learn some of that. um, every conversation technically is a negotiation because you're trying to get the other person to agree with you. And unfortunately, so many women have not been taught how to win. So here you are, knowing you have to have a conversation, knowing how important it's going to be, knowing that you must, and that something big depends on it. And yet you don't do it because you weren't taught as a young girl how to win. Now, if you played sports, you might have been taught a little bit how to win. But maybe over the decades of your career, you've been pushed down into such a small little piece of yourself that you don't feel like you can win. And I know those words don't sit right with a lot of women. It's not a matter of winning and losing, Mo. That's right. It's a matter of winning and winning. So in the paradigm that we're living in today's world, we want everyone to win in the negotiation. We want everyone to be a party of, yay, that works for me too. And that is the best approach to take in any conversation or in any negotiation. Those of you ladies who are in my Kick-Ass Leadership Academy are going to get one heck of a deep dive into negotiations. And it's going to save you and serve you for the rest of your life and career. Those of you who are on my Kick-Ass workshop, you're going to get a nice dose of negotiation because we want you to negotiate your offer letter and perhaps something else that might come up while you're in the 12 weeks with us. We're going to teach you the basics of negotiation because it's really important for women to be able to learn how to win conversations. And so when you're afraid of this discussion, when you're afraid of the conversation, you have to first of all get real with yourself. What are the thought feeling patterns that are stopping you? What is that wall that you've created between you and the other person? And how can you minimize it so that you don't have the big distancing thing happening? Because you all know what I'm talking about. I've had situations like that where I haven't said what I wanted to say and the chasm has gotten bigger. What happens when the chasm gets bigger? Go ahead, tell me in the comments because you know exactly what happens when that separation gets bigger and bigger because you move away and then they move away. You move away and then they move away. And soon enough, what happens, ladies? Tell me what happens when that chasm becomes so big. Someone's going to have to tell me. You don't have the conversation and you lose that relationship. You lose it. It could have been a great relationship. It could have been a great boss. It could have been a great company. And you're the one who created the chasm. And the other party was just responding. Maybe they didn't know it here, but they knew it here. Why is she pulling away? Why is she being more distant? Why is she not giving me 100% effort anymore? You know what? I'm going to pick Susie to do that because I'm feeling better about Susie. And I want Susie to learn these things. So Susie, you get to the head of the class. And that's what happens when you don't have the crucial conversations. You begin to break down and degrade things that are important. Thank you, Paige. I'll see you later too. So what happens is that you begin to lose the positive momentum in your life if you fail to have these crucial conversations. And the first person you need to have the crucial conversations is with the woman in the mirror. What is stopping you? What is holding you back? And what lies are you telling yourself that are putting that wall up? And are you responsible for your half of the relationship going in the wrong direction? And the wrong direction is this versus this. Every relationship that you want to have that's going to fuel something important to you has to be moving in the direction of further integration, not less. Further integration with your partner, your coworkers, your boss, your neighbor, everyone. I now have front door people in my relationship circle. So there's normal people sitting at the front desk of my new apartment condo complex, and valet guys. They're all guys on the valet. Um, and those are people that I want to have a healthy relationship with. And you know what? Two of them a month or so ago were having a little tete a tete, and it was uncomfortable. I didn't like it. It wasn't about me at all. It was what was going on with them before I showed up in the front lobby area. I didn't like it at all. But later on, the next time I saw each of them, I had to clear the air because they knew I saw that. They didn't like it. They're human beings. I know what was going on. I mean, I don't know the actual reason why they were going at it with each other, but they were, and they knew I saw it. So I had to check in with them. How you doing? Did that kind of settle itself out, or what's going on? If I didn't have that, there would be this barrier that I wouldn't feel good about, they wouldn't feel good about, and we'd be like working and dealing with each other with this barrier between us. I don't want that in any relationship I have in my entire life ever again. I've had enough of it in my normal life up to this point. I've had to navigate stuff. I've had to jump and dive and curtsy and do all sorts of things to navigate those type of chasms. I've had enough of that. Now, thank goodness for me, I've been coached for many decades. I've learned, I've taught, I'm an expert in how to do this. So now I bring a toolkit that's pretty sharp to these types of situations. And it's just part of who I am and how I roll. But that's after decades of working on myself. Because I decided that my life was worth investing in. I decided that my life was worth being happier. I decided that my life was worth not having any more confusion about who I am and how I am to the world and how I'm received. Trust me, I spent lots of years troubling all over that. Lots of years. And my career suffered. My health suffered. My sleep suffered. My health really suffered because almost 12 years ago is my anniversary where I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that was the biggest punch to my face on the fact that I didn't have my act together. There was an inside dialogue that was literally poisoning me. And I wasn't in truth with myself about what was truly holding me from being the happiest version of me. And the most crucial conversation that you can have is with yourself. Now, as a proxy to that, it's with a coach. Because a coach is going to pull you forward into your highest you. And if you're in my workshop, we're going to help you find out who that highest version of you is, because that version of you is the version who has a much more successful life and career. If you don't find the most powerful version of you, you will not ascend to the level that you're made for. It won't happen because you'll be holding all of these heavy weights, and they will stop you from being lifted to your highest, truest self. Those weights don't feel good. They cause disease. They cause stress, struggle, and suffering. Nothing good. So in order for you to be free and open and happy as a soulful, beautiful woman, you need to let go of those weights that are holding you back. That's how you have better conversations with people. That's how you have a better life, happier family life, happier career life, make more money, and continue to progress on the scale of your total success and happiness package. And that's what I do for a living with the women who work with me. I help them get moving on that track, ascending into their highest version of them. And you know what? In 12 weeks after that foundation is laid, all sorts of awesome, great things happen. Because when women work on themselves and come alive back again, things start to make better sense. Yes, Judith, getting unstuck. Twain, thank you so much. Best coach ever. Oh, thank you so much. Um, Vet, nice to see you here. Let's keep getting you moving in the right direction. Right direction always means where you feel empowered. That's the right direction. The wrong direction is you not feeling empowered, is you continuing to play those thought feeling things that bring you down, hold you back, and are preventing you from having those important conversations. Being able to have powerful conversations is the number one skill that you need to have a powerful career. You know, years ago when I was a national director for a big national company, I was asked to mentor a physician who was coming into an administrative leadership role. And so I helped him kind of understand profit and loss statements, financial stuff, and just kind of how we made decisions on the business side and what we look for and how to avoid things, just basic mentoring. And I was delighted to do that. I liked this guy a lot. I felt that we were like brother and sister a little bit, and just really felt tight with him, and really, really was eager and excited to watch him grow and develop as a true leader. Um, Being in healthcare for 35 years plus, I knew how important it was for physicians to really be good leaders, not just people leaders, but just really understand business and making decisions and being appropriate and strong in the right moments and yielding in the other moments. And so I helped this gentleman understand things about being a good leader and a good manager. And he sat me down one day and said, you know, thanks a lot. I recognize that the number one thing that holds all people back from being awesome is their ability to have difficult conversations. And I said to him, you are absolutely correct. And they're only difficult conversations because we actually pose it that way. So if you think about them as being empowering conversations, so I'm going to empower this relationship with new information, you're actually able to navigate it in a little bit better way. But just know that if you're feeling held back, the number one conversation you need to have is with you. And you need to understand the underpinnings of why you're not having the conversations that you know you must have. First with you, and then with others. And so if you can break down the thought feeling loops that continue to play that are holding you back, if you can identify the things that are causing this chasm, and if you can stop that in its tracks and get a hold of it and begin to bring it together, you're going to save yourself a lot of aggravation, time, and money, because those chasms don't repair themselves. That's what job loss, getting fired, getting marginalized, getting pigeonholed looks like. It looks like a conversation that didn't happen, and over the months, weeks, months, or years, things are very different, and you wonder what went wrong. So many women we talk to on the clarity calls had a great career until the boss changed. And then new boss comes and things don't work the same way. That's because you are not in charge of your career, that you're relying too much on someone else. Same thing with conversations. You have to rely on you to have the conversations you must have. If you take the nuggets from this Facebook Live and jot them down with good notes, you have everything that you need to be able to navigate things in a much more empowered way. But I know what the problem is. You don't have enough confidence to do it. If you're one of my clients, you ought to, and you ought to know exactly what to do day in and day out to get there. I'm counting on you. If you're not a client of mine, you may not have the underpinning strength and confidence to be able to do some of these things and to be able to pull the trigger on having these conversations the proper way. And I get that. I understand that. I didn't always have it either, but I learned and learned. But what's the truth here is that I don't want you to have to wait for 30 years of your career to figure this out on your own, like I did. I packaged all of this stuff up in a 12-week workshop. Only way you can have access to that is by us understanding what's really going on. And if we can help you, we'll point you in that direction. If we can't, we'll point you another direction. That's the way we roll. I only want to work with women in my workshop who I know we can help. It's an important part of what we do. And frankly, not everyone's a good fit for what we do. So let's sort that out. You don't have to feel bad about taking a complimentary career clarity call. If you are a woman who works for a living and you're not where you want to be, book the call. Have that crucial conversation to be your own advocate, your own empowered version of you. And let's sort it out with you and see if we can help you. And truthfully, if we can't help you, we're not going to offer you anything. We're going to help you and organize things for you in a way that you'll understand exactly what's truly going on. Because you know what? We know how to have crucial conversations. We know how to have impactful, truthful, meaningful dialogue with you. All you have to do is book the call, and we'll be happy, delighted, and in service of you and your career. Wouldn't you love to know what's truly going on and have the truth of it? Wouldn't you love to know that there may be a solution for it that will save you time and effort? And one of our wonderful ladies landed her second dream job probably in 16 weeks. So her first dream job was 12 weeks. We called it the bridge job because it wasn't everything that she wanted. But then like a month later, boom, she got that offer for that job that she had been interviewing with. It just took them longer to kind of make that all happen. So in 2 years' time, she went from really not having anything going on to a fantastic career built back up because she chose herself and she chose to build herself back up. And you know who I'm talking to if you're on this Facebook Live. Congratulations again for really diving in and solving your problem by you being the answer. That's what we do. We help you be the answer to all of your prayers and all of your dreams. But you might just not know how to do it right now. So therefore you can't. And that's how we help. So yes, say yes to you. Danielle, nice to see you. Judith, again, nice to see you. Paige, awesome. Robin, how are you doing? Yes, increase your vibration. It all works out. Letitia, nice to see you. You got it. All right. She's staying home. JD, loving on you too. Joanna Greer, this is a great topic and so true. I know it. That's why I'm talking about it. And looks like you're a healthcare worker, and God bless you as well. Michelle, how are you doing? Let me know how you're rocking and rolling. I know you got a future ahead of you. Judy, nice to see you here. Happy to help you in any way we can. Elise, you are a freaking rock star. Looking forward to seeing what your next turn is. It's going to be good. And Anne Marie, rock and roll. Nice to see you. If you've liked what you've heard today, if you have more of a career than what you've got going on, let us help you. That crucial conversation, maybe one of them is the complimentary career clarity call. It's great to see everyone here today. This is Motivational Monday, and I am Coach Mo Faul. You can find me everywhere on social media and mofaul.com. I'm the founder and creator of your kick-ass career workshop where we help up-level souls so that they can land their dream job. It's a lot of fun to do, and boy, do we have the formula for it. Ladies who are my clients, I love you all. You're awesome. Have a great rest of your Monday and a great week. Hey, listen, I've got something special. If you're watching this live, we're going to start doing something new in the Bring Your Soul to Work Facebook group. It's going to be basically a question answer. You can ask me any question. If you want to throw a question down here, that's fine. If you want to send me a question on the Bring Your Soul to Work Facebook group, you can post a question. Hey, Mo, I have a question. I'll be answering a couple of questions on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern and seeing what we can do to help some of the folks out there with conundrums, scratching the head and not knowing what to do. So answering your questions Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. So we'll see you then. And it's always great seeing all of you adorable, lovely clients. Have a rockin' rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. This is Career Coach Mo Faul. Over and out.